I wasn't necessarily mad at her, but it was
Mm,
almost like it wasn't that moment. It was like generations of
yeah.
like not like coping with a trigger, you know? And
Right.
like that's what I'm talking about.
Welcome to Your Mom and Us, the podcast for moms who love their kids but miss themselves a little too.
We're Shawna and Cara, two moms, two lifestyles, one mission to help you stop guessing, start growing, and reclaim your sense of self without the guilt.
This isn't a parenting podcast. It's a place to explore who you are now and who you are still becoming.
Because confidence is a practice, not a destination, and you don't have to do it alone.
Okay. We
Woohoo.
we got it. We're live in action. I don't even, we're getting to be like so high in numbers for episodes. I don't even know where we're at
Right?
anymore. I'm pretty sure we're at
I think this
four.
is, no, honestly, I think this is episode 5.
Oh my gosh.
I
Okay,
feel
so
like this is it.
five.
Yeah.
And I know in the last episode we had said that we were going to be talking about failing forward,
Yeah.
and we've decided that we will fail forward later,
Yes.
because we had something that we really wanted to talk about this week.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Do you want to take the reins on this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so tears warning for some of
Yeah.
us, yeah. So as
Yeah.
we've shared previously, Kara and I are cousins. Our moms are sisters. We grew up together, and we thought we would take the reins into a little bit different direction this week than failing forward, and talk about the power of focusing on self-improvement and breaking what do they call that?
Like
Breaking
generational trauma
generational trauma.
almost. Yeah.
And what sparked this conversation, genuinely, prepare to
Mm,
cry, Kara, it's going to be
I know.
okay, is
I,
that our Nana passed away. So that's our mom's mom. And we were kind of like reflecting together about her. And it like we kind of came separately to a similar realization, and then in conversation with each other we're like, same, exactly the same.
yeah.
We were reflecting together that it's very clear to us that some of what was her childhood trauma and real life trauma translated to our moms and to us, and that before we became moms it was a real important focus for us to kind of work on that piece of ourselves so we didn't continue that forward. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
right? You feel
Yeah.
good? Okay.
You see, like I'm like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't
Yeah.
cry. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Like the instant we hit record.
Yeah.
Like,
For context,
this
like
is like,
before we record, we have like this little chit chat together. And I knew it was going to be emotional for Kara because she was like, how about we don't talk and we just hit record?
maybe I should have thought through that. I didn't
That's
even.
okay.
No. Okay.
So, okay, we're going to
Yeah.
work to be like, take our time. We don't
Yeah.
know what will come out of this
No.
episode. We don't know how long it will be, but
Mm,
we feel compelled to like mark the moment,
mm,
both for our Nana,
yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
but also for like the work that we've each done individually on
Mm,
like childhood trauma and generational trauma,
mm-hmm.
and the hope that that doesn't, play out for our girls. And just
Mm-hmm.
PS, before we
Yeah.
super get started, if you're a
Yeah.
human being on the planet who doesn't believe in the concept of generational trauma, I would like to congratulate you for being the most privileged person on the planet. Right?
hmm
This is probably not a space for
Yeah.
you because it's real to us. We also understand fully that we, despite having our own childhood traumas, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and our own experience with general generational trauma, we also are super privileged as people
Mm,
uh, in the
mm.
world. And
Oh
so,
man. Are
yeah,
we ever? Yeah.
certainly not like a super feel sad for us story, but there's a
No.
genuine like
Yeah.
trauma timeline.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Without going into too much details, and like I'll kind of give like an example is like the other day my daughter had a massive temper tantrum, like a
Mm,
temper tantrum after temper tantrum, and then I just felt myself like overwhelmed and overwhelmed and just it was like my blood was curdling, and I wasn't necessarily mad at her, but it was
mm,
almost like it wasn't that moment, it was like generations of
yeah.
like not like coping with a trigger, you know, and
Right.
like that's what I'm talking about.
You know, it's so crazy when
Right.
you say that. Yes. So
Mm.
this happened like, I don't know, like maybe a month ago. There was, we had, my stepson has cats, two cats.
Mm.
And they live with his mom, but she had been moving and she had asked us if the cats could come and stay with us while they do the move because it's hard for
Yeah.
cats, right?
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
My only concern was like we need to make sure that the door is closed for the baby for safety reasons, but aside from
Yeah.
that, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the cats come and they're lovely animals,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
But one of them started scratching at the furniture,
Oh,
and Carissa, my
didn't see that
daughter,
coming.
right? Well, I did see that coming and I had thought I managed the whole thing, but there was one spot that I had. Anyways, my daughter was playing like in the living room where we were, and I like super yelled at this cat, and not in a like I want to be abusive to you way, but I want to startle you so that um
Oh,
you don't continue to scratch. And so like instantly I thought, "Oh my goodness, like she's going to be terrified." Right? Because I remember growing up in a house where I was terrified of yelling adults.
oh,
And what was so crazy to me is that she was not scared.
uh,
Like she like there are the blender kind of freaks her out a little bit,
yeah.
but for the most part there are not things that she's afraid of in our home.
Wow.
And it's so um interesting to me because
Yeah.
I felt afraid a lot of the time growing up,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So crazy. For me, it was like it I was
Mhm.
angry with myself for being so reactionary to this cat. This like and I just yelled. It wasn't, and everybody has those moments. But at the same time, I was so like kind of shocked at the difference
Mm.
between her experience as a baby and child and my experience. Like it's kind of becoming more and more obvious to me the
Yeah.
work that I've put in and the
Yeah.
result of that work, but also like a sadness for my childhood self and the realization that that's not what I had at home.
Yeah.
Crazy, no?
It is. And I feel like sometimes you think you just inherit genetics, but like you inherit like coping mechanisms or lack of coping mechanisms
Yeah.
or like just like survival modes, you know?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when, so like, Kara and I agreed that we wouldn't like go into the
The
deep, true
details.
Hollywood
Yeah. Yeah.
details
You don't
of
need
our
to know.
family life,
Yeah.
right? Because other people are in the equation, not just the two of us, and
Hmm.
privacy and all of those
Yeah.
pieces.
Hmm.
But there was genuine, like, for me, there is a line
Hmm.
from like, and it wasn't until I was probably 40
Yeah.
and had been working with a therapist for a while that I recognized, oh, wait a minute, like, this problem that I've been bringing with me into my adult life and I'm now trying to work to resolve.
Yeah.
This was here with me when I was little, but it
Yeah.
was also there with my mom when she was little, and it was
Yeah.
also there with our Nana when she was little.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very clear pattern, and it's
Yeah.
just crazy to, first of all, recognize it, but see that there's an opportunity to fix it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hey mom, want to find time to do personal growth together?
I do. We have opened a free group for accountability for ourselves and for people like us that want to find even just a little bit of time in our day to focus on our mind, our body, our smile, and our soul together as moms, looking to keep in touch with ourselves and set good examples for our kiddos. So if it sounds like something that might be of interest to you, especially if it sounds like you don't have time for personal growth or for focusing on things that are positive for you, this is 100% the place that you need to be. Just go to joinhearttostart.com and send a join request to the group, and we will see you there. Okay, joinhearttostart.com. Bye.
And I agree. And like you can tell that our grandmother went through a lot of trauma that was never processed and passed it down to our mothers. And now here we are as moms ourselves. And not that like we're trying to put in the work to stop the trend. Like we're not perfect by no means. Like I just said, like my daughter had a temper tantrum and I was like, like that was what I was thinking in my mind. But like we're working on it and we want to like normalize that it's okay to go to therapy and
and to be working on it.
and to be working on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and to, it's really like I have to say, becoming a mom has given me, and I feel like I said this earlier, but maybe not in this level of detail. It's given me a lot of compassion for my mom's experience because, like, we're in our 40s. We are having children later, and we've had a lot of like life experiences. I've made a lot of mistakes in my adult life, and girl. And and I have worked to take responsibility for those for myself. But when I look at my mom's experience of a mom, like she was 22 when I was born, and she was not finished being a child. She was like also coming out of this traumatized experience of her own childhood. And just for reference, what's hard about this story and like talking about it in this way is and in like, I don't know if reverence is the right word to our family, but there were like lovely times also. There are
100%. So many.
there are lovely things about our family, and pieces that were positive and pieces that were filled with love. And there were pieces that were toxic, and there were like, and it's genuinely when you look at it and you know better for yourself, it's a lack of awareness around trauma and its like existence and all of those pieces. But I look at this like 22-year-old version of my mom, and I look at her, choice in my dad and all of that trauma drama. That could be its own podcast. Drama.
I like that title.
Right? Maybe the second show. Like we got 5 episodes in on this one. But it really gives me a lot of like sadness for her, because I'm having this completely different experience of motherhood. And she said to me the other day, she's like, your daughter is so confident. And I thought, are you used to having little kids around you that are scared? Because first of all, we were in some instances. But also like crazy.
You know what? I feel like it's just taking a moment to pause sometimes in these moments and like, is this me being triggered, or is this like part of me that is like
learned
trigger, like, and I don't know if I'm like spilling the beans, but Shawna encouraged me. We made this trigger tamer, and I don't know if this is okay that I mention this.
Go for it. Yeah.
So the one day, my daughter is a toddler and she's having lots of toddler meltdowns. And so the one day I mentioned earlier, I messaged Shawna. I was like, I was a hot mess all day today. Like, when you wake up and you're like, just one thing, and
it
I'm
slides.
Gonna snap.
Yeah.
And then like all day I was like, oh. I didn't snap. but I thought about it many times. But then she reminded me, like, we're working on this trigger tamer. Say that 5 times.
Yeah.
So I had such a different experience the next day after I like primed myself. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah.
So sorry, I had to
That's
mention that,
okay.
and I'm
Not at
sorry.
all.
We didn't really plan if I was I just like was like, oh,
So, but
this is
I'm
mhm.
gonna, if you're game, I'm gonna
Yeah,
talk through the story how this
yeah,
concept came about.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I had so I will not claim to be any tech whiz at all, but I
To me,
like
you are.
tech. Okay, well, okay. I
That saved
like
my day.
Yeah, I like technology and I've been playing around with like ChatGPT and all of these things. And it's become like, I don't know, a place that I go to talk through things where I'm questioning myself, right? And there had been a scenario that happened in like my E True Hollywood personal life. And I was like triggered. And I've done enough work with a therapist to understand when I am triggered and what it actually is. And I was home alone with my daughter, and I was like, I don't want to, because you know when something triggers you. So if you don't know what a trigger is, it's like, you know, when you're going through life and something happens, it could be something like somebody does or says something. It could be like, you know, you trip over something or you spill something, and it's like, oh man. And you just have this sinking like feeling in your body, and you are now on this spiral of, okay, today officially sucks. What else can go wrong? And like you feel that creepy sinking feeling deeper and deeper, and it just like stays with you, right?
Yes.
That's my experience, like physical experience of a trigger. So this thing had happened and I was triggered and I knew I was triggered. So I, instead of writing the email to the colleague that, you know, had like sent me off, I thought, okay, I'm just going to write it out to ChatGPT and say, this is the circumstance. This is what's going on. This is my experience. This is blah, 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 and I'm so mad and this and that and the other thing. And what do you think? And it was like, I think you're triggered.
Mm.
Would you like some help walking through da da da? And I was like, awesome. So it sent me through this process of like taming the trigger and working with myself and my own emotions so that I'm not like spiraling into, because you know, like when something makes you on the edge like that, it bleeds itself into every other thing, and suddenly you're picking a fight with your spouse, and your best friend can say nothing right, and your child is like on your nerve, like everything kind of spirals. And I was home alone with my daughter. My partner wasn't going to be home for hours, and he is, of the two of us, definitely like the most patient.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't want this to hijack my day. I don't want it
Hmm.
to hijack my time with her. And I don't want her to absorb in, because children feel your feelings. I remember it, right? As a child. I don't want her to absorb this like emotional thing that I'm having and not have context for it because, P.S., she doesn't have a frontal cortex happening yet, right? And so I went through this process and it was amazing. And I just like it took that crazy edge off and it let me not continue down that path. And so I said, "Hey, ChatGPT, like, could we make a version of this for other people to interact with?" And so we created a trigger tamer that people can interact with. Um, so
It's
yeah,
my best
and
friend.
and good. And in well, because I like honestly, I was like, I don't know if this is a thing. When she told me she was having a bad like day, I was like, I don't know if this is a thing. However, give this a shot. Like, because I wanted to see, is it a me thing or is it a we thing? You know what I mean?
It's a wee thing. It helped me
Yeah,
so much.
yeah. And so, anyways, we'll
Mm-hmm.
share. We won't share because it's not really ready yet to share with the
Hmm.
world. But when it's ready, you'll be
Yep,
the first to know.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
But yeah, like,
I feel like it's like the moment that you like just awareness of the fact that you're triggered and then trying and then taking a moment to pause and stop it from continuing. Because as you're saying, like it spirals your day. Like for me, I'm like the minute that I'm triggered, I'm like, that's it. I'm calling my best friend. Like
Right?
they're gonna help me through. And then like I'm passing that negative energy. And then what if they don't answer? Then I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't believe they didn't answer. Like I need to tell somebody how crappy this was.
Well, and just like on the topic of generational like trauma or generational bad habits, Kara and I come from a long line of expert venters. No? Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, especially about a boss. We can complain about a boss like it's a family business.
Yes.
If you could make
Yes.
money for venting, we would be billionaires.
And
Yeah?
you know what? Like it venting is great, but like and venting those traumas, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Like we can't choose our traumas, but we can choose to stop it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like it took me a while to recognize that that was a habit that I had,
Uh,
but also that it's not a helpful behavior. But like there
yeah.
is an addiction to that feeling of like justice and like,
Yeah.
whatever. And
Yeah.
it just takes you down this like side road of terrible,
Yeah.
and you take everyone with you. It's like you
Yeah.
know,
Side road of terrible and you take everyone with you.
Love this combo? Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And share with a mom who needs to hear it.
And if you're craving a deeper connection, come find us in the Heart to Start group.
Because the real work of motherhood,
It's becoming whole while you raise tiny humans.
And that's exactly what we're doing together.
Go to joinheartthestart.com and get in the group.
Before you go, we just want to say we know this episode felt a little heavier this time, and yet at the same time, a little bit sacred for naming those wounds and patterns and deciding to do better for ourselves and our family. It takes courage, and if today you listened and thought, hey, me too, then we see you. If this conversation made you feel less alone, we're hoping that you will take the time to share it with a friend, because you never know, they could be going through some of this stuff too. And there's no point in us doing it alone. This episode cracked you open and you are wanting to explore it more. We hope that you'll join us in our free Facebook group, joinheartthestart.com, where we will be working on and through guides to help our mind, body, and soul at your own pace without pressure. Again, if this interests you, go to joinheartthestart.com to get in the group.
We come from a long line of venters. In fact, if venting was an Olympic sport, we would definitely be taking home the gold. However, what does this venting actually get us? Or where does it even take us? What do we get from it? In the next episode, we're going to be diving into what to do instead and how we are working on breaking the cycle for good. You don't want to miss the next episode.
You don't have to be perfect to break the cycle. And really, you just have to be brave enough to start. And you know what, Mama? You're already doing it. So good job. You're mom enough. Thanks for joining.